What's up, guys? So I've had a super busy day today. Really good though, good stuff, productive day. But I was hoping to start on this a lot earlier and I was not able to. So now I'm rushing to try to get this car done, grind down these wheel studs. Grind down the wheel studs so I can get these spacers on and hopefully hit up the track tonight for test and tune, because the gate's actually open like right now for test and tune tonight. So I gotta knock this out so I can take the new tires with me, and I'm going to do some passes on the old tires just for comparison's sake, so it's on the same tires to see just what the difference is with the intake, and then we'll put new tires on. Hopefully I should be able to launch it a little bit higher with the new tires and see how much of a difference that makes, you know, overall, and also mainly in the 60 foot though, because with these new tires I should be able to launch on the converter, which is about another 500-600 RPMs higher than what I've been able to launch with on these tires. So let me go ahead, get this car jacked up, get the wheels off, grind down these studs. Hopefully it doesn't give me any problems and I can do this super quick. Alright, so thankfully it's going super easy. This cutting wheel is cutting right through them like butter. But you can see the end of my wheel studs have the flat section at the end. That's all I'm cutting off. I'm not even cutting the threads at all. I'm putting it right there and just cutting off the flat section. That's all I'm doing. So, yep, back to it. Alright, so I didn't even need to cut that much off. So they are all just ever so slightly recessed up inside the pockets or holes. So on the other side, maybe I'll try to cut off just a little bit less on the other side. So, like I said, I'm taking both tires with me tonight because I know what it should run with the stock intake, and we know what it ran with the Dorman intake. Now I put the stock back one on. I want to, for consistency's sake and testing purposes, want to make sure I'm doing it the same. So that's why I want to take both tires and make passes on the same tires that I made passes on before, and then hopefully swap out tires, and then make a few more passes, and we'll see where it's at. But here is the difference between a 255 and a 305. Now, I think I've said previously, yes, I know 305 is overkill, but I got a heck of a deal on these that I couldn't pass up. So I was debating between a 305 or a 275. 275 is really all I need, but I got, like I said, a heck of a deal on these 305s. So it's I'm sorry, that's not even a 255, that's a 245. A 245 45 17 versus a 305 45 17. So you can see width and height difference. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to make at least one, maybe 2 passes on these old tires. I'm just going to launch at 2,500 RPMs because that's what I know it hooks at. Like I said, I've tried launching over 2,500 on these tires several times and every time it's spun. So I'm not going to go up there and make a pass knowing it's going to spin and waste the pass. So I'm going to do 2 passes at 2,500, change tires. We'll see how just the intake does, and then I'll put the new tires on and hopefully I can launch it harder and hook. Shifted really weird there. All right, why is it running so slow? Alright, so 2/10 slow, almost 2/10. Almost 2/10 just in the 60 foot, but it ran a 15.3. I mean, that's really slow. Alright, so that first run was super slow. I don't know why it was so slow. 15.3. I mean, that's slower than stock. So, which I mean, it is. Oh well, no, that's slower than stock.
Swap the left lane. Oh, you want to swap tires?
Well, I was going to do 2 passes and then swap tires, but that was super slow. That's slower than stock. That was a 15.3. I'm looking up the DA now.
It should be low. Edited the sound out. The guy in the back, he's talking about the Crown Vic. He's like, yeah, Crown Vic, come get that Audi. He's like, I bet you got a camera or something. And I said, nah, it's bone stock. So he went for bone stock record.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get pulled off.
Gears and the stall converters, all it's got right now, and that in stock.
Well, I was pretty close to the Audi. It didn't like it was that bad.
Yeah. If it was running a mid 14 like it should be, I actually probably would have been neck and neck with that Audi.
It didn't like a bad run.
No, the DA right now is only 700.
Yeah.
So that's not.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not high.
No, it's low. There's no.
So why is it running so slow? See, we got that big Ultima energy out here tonight. That's who I should line up against.
Yeah.
Oh no, I might embarrass myself.
I know what we need to do.
Find a bottle.
Yeah. Spray and pray, baby.
much better burnout that time. Much better. Alright, that one felt much better. Still had that weird shift. I mean, it jerks really bad on that 3-4 shift. Or 2-3 shift for that. Thank you. What the heck? It felt way better and it felt way faster, but it was slower. A 15.4. 14 at the end, 15.414. I need the first number to be a 14, not the last number. Why is it running so slow? Alright, I'm going to send these tunes off. I'm going to swap tires. And then data log these next runs. And send off to Marty. See if he can see anything in the tune. Alright, well, it's running even slower, which doesn't make any sense to me. This is the exact same setup, identical setup, same intake, same everything. The intake cracked at streetcar bragging rights. I JB welded the intake, put it back on. So, I mean, other than the JB welded intake, I mean, it's the exact same intake now, but it is the exact same identical setup that I went a 14.49 on. I went a 14.498 because I broke out by 0.02 of a second. It's the exact same setup, so I don't know why it's running almost, shoot. That run was almost a whole full second slower. Now, the only difference is my cutouts are closed. I did have the exhaust cutouts open that day. The exhaust cutouts are closed now, but those exhaust cutouts are only good for like 1/10 of a second. I've tested those before. They're good for 1/10 of a second. So that's the only difference. All right, although it's really not running like I want, I really want to see what difference the tires make. So even though it's for some reason running 15s today, even though it's been, like I said, mid 14s on this exact same setup, I am going to go ahead and put the tires on, which, if anything, those are a bigger, heavier tire, so it actually should run slower. But it was having traction issues off the line. And like I said, anytime I launched over 2500, it was spinning. So even though these are, yes, they're a bigger, heavier tire, it should hook offline. So I thought it would help me enough in my 60 foot that it would help overall. But with the way the car's running right now, I'm honestly won't be surprised if it runs a slower 60 and a slower quarter on these tires. But let's go get them swapped out and see.
That one's ready to come off.
All right. these look a lot better. Just aesthetically on the car, I think these look a lot better because they're a lot closer to the factory size. So they got a bigger sidewall like the factory tire does. So going for that sleeper look I want, I like it. All right, a little two-step check, see where these tires are holding at. All right. So that was on the two-step. That was about 2,800. So
foot brake it, see where
yeah, see when it starts spinning. Yeah, was it spinning?
It just started to spin.
Okay, I kind of felt it move, but it felt like it like wiggled and then stuck again.
It started to spin.
Okay, so it's right there at it. So it's spinning at like 2,900.
Put it on the two-step.
So, yeah. Should have gone with a bigger converter. Bigger stall. Alright. You know, I debated a lot about converter size, stall speed. I should have gone with a little bit higher stall. Most people recommended a 3 to 3,200, and I thought a 3,200 would be good. I still think a 3,200 would be good if it was a true 3,200, but it's a 3,000 to 3,200 stall, but even with these bigger tires, it's still breaking loose at like 28, 2,900. So if it was truly holding to 3,200, I think I'd be spot on. Felt the same as last time, so I ain't even making any guesses this time as to how it felt.
Big shit up there. Yes, weird.
Yep. It ran exact same pass, even with the new tires, another 15.4, which is what it ran on the last pass with a 2,160, so like 500ths of a second. I mean, minuscule amount slower in the 60, which, I mean, it's a bigger, heavier tire to get rotating, so I guess that makes sense. Because the other tire was sticking, it wasn't spinning, so the other one's spinning, it should have been faster, but it wasn't. So and that's why I know it's down on power, because it used to spin those 245s anytime I launched over 2,500 spun them, but my last pass on the 245s was like 2,800 and it hooked. So it's still down on power because it used to spin the 245s and it didn't tonight. So I gotta figure out why this car's down on power. It's consistent. Even when it's slow, it's consistently slow. I mean,
same exact 60 foot.
Yeah. Another thing I've always said about this car, it's a darn consistent car. Like it should be.
You got 90 foot passes when you're not motor?
Yeah. It should be one heck of a bracket car if I was a little better at the light, because it's a darn consistent car. Even when it's running slow like tonight, it's consistently slow.
Did it feel better on the foot brake?
A little bit. Felt a little bit better offline, but not much. About the same. I did launch that hard though. I got a foot brake all the way to 3,000. That was a 3,000 RPM launch versus a 2,900. But like you said, the
foot's exactly the same.
Literally identical down to the thousandths.
Yeah.
Identical 60 foot. Consistent. Alright, so I data logged my last few passes tonight. I'm going to send those off to the tuner. Hopefully he can see something weird or something off in the tune and figure out why this car is down on power, because it's definitely not running right. But there's no check engine lights, no codes, nothing, nothing that I can find. I'll do a compression test tomorrow, check that out, make sure all cylinders are still firing good. But I can't find anything obviously wrong with it, so I'm going to have to look into it, figure out what's going on. But as for now, today's verse of the day. This is one I really like. I've got several friends that have anxiety, and this is one I often like to remind them. Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Again, that's Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. All right, guys. Till next time, stay safe, stay blessed.